Netflix claim that Drive to Survive is a documentary about Formula One's drivers and teams. But do they really tell the truth? Today I'm going to show you how Netflix twists reality to entertain over inform. It's very easy to tell where Netflix are adding their own twists to real life events, as all of Formula One is broadcasted on Sky Sports. For example, let's take a look at some of the team radios from the drivers.
I think I'd take yourselves out, man. Can Norris go around the outside? It's forced me off. The two Ferraris! Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc make contact!
Now these radios may seem innocent enough at first, but let's take a further look. In the first clip, Lando Norris and teammate Daniel Ricciardo battle it out on the first lap, where we hear Norris say, Norris actually clears this up in a YouTube video, where he explains how Netflix faked a rivalry between himself and Ricciardo.
You know, they made it out like we're biggest enemies here. They said, I think they make it so I say he pushed me off. Listen. He's forced me off.
That
wasn't even from this race.
From a different race, yeah.
Yeah.
Or different part of the race.
And they make it. It's not even near me. Look, it's not even near me.
The second clip, where the two Ferraris collide, is the same story. While they do crash into each other, and an angry reaction is expected, this wasn't their genuine reaction. Now you could argue that a little misplaced radio is harmless and simply makes the series more entertaining. But it gets more significant when they're shaping drivers to be perceived in a certain way. Let's look at Drive to Survive Season 4, Episode 3. We're in the middle of an intense rivalry between the two championship contenders, Max Verstappen of Red Bull and Lewis Hamilton of Mercedes. At the British Grand Prix, Hamilton crashes into the side of Verstappen, taking him out of the race. In Drive to Survive, as soon as the crash happens, we hear Hamilton asking on the radio if Max is okay.
Is Max okay?
Showing that Hamilton is a respectful and caring driver. However, in reality, it takes Lewis 2 minutes of complaining about the crash before asking if Max is okay.
Is Max okay?
This manipulation of the radios creates a false impression for fans of Drive to Survive on what kind of person Verstappen and Hamilton are. This is further shown when Will Buxton, a presenter on Drive to Survive, says this.
Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, they're polar opposites. Lewis is an incredibly clean racer. He rarely gets himself into controversies or scrapes.
By Lewis. And Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate.
I find that hard to believe. This idea of Hamilton being the good guy is even further shown when the two collide again at another race, and a commentator provided by Netflix says this.
Verstappen and Hamilton, a very big accident. Hope Hamilton's okay.
We didn't hear any kind of empathy for Max's crash, but for Lewis's, we do. Once again, representing Hamilton to be the good guy and Verstappen to be the bad guy. While Verstappen and Hamilton's rivalry on Drive to Survive has foundation, this next rivalry is completely made up. When Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz were teammates back in 2020, it was well known in Formula One that they were great friends and got along throughout their 2 years as teammates together. However, Netflix have decided to turn this idea on its head. In Season 3, Episode 8 at the Austrian 2020 Grand Prix, Norris and Sainz are about to swap positions, and they get pretty close, and then Norris says this.
What's he trying to do?
Like before, this is a misplaced radio and was actually said far later in the race against another driver and had absolutely nothing to do with his teammate.
He just tuned in on. What's he trying to do?
Later on in the episode, we see a clip of Lando and Sainz getting ready to do some pieces for the media when Sainz pulls Lando's chair away from him as a joke. By simply putting in some dramatic music and some rises in this clip, Netflix have made it seem like Lando is furious with Sainz. However, if you listen closely, you can hear Lando laughing about it. His laugh just gets cut short.
Oh, he's violated you there.
He got me.
Actually, just injured me, mate.
The gloves are off between those two.
What? Gloves are off between me and Carlos, man. You should have seen us behind closed doors.
Next up on the list of why does Drive to Survive make everything up is continuity. In every film, documentary, or TV series, continuity is vital. Good continuity makes what you're watching feel real, and that is very important. This should absolutely not be a problem for Netflix, as they get access to all of Formula One cameras and microphones across a race weekend, which includes and is not limited to the 7+ cameras which are on every single race car, the many cameras that go around every single track, the F1 TV Helicam, and all of the cameras in the garages and the pit wall. But somehow, Netflix throw continuity away for no good reason. In Season 4, Episode 4, we're at the Russian Grand Prix, and a Russian Haas driver, Nikita Mazepin, says this.
I saw the clouds building up and getting darker and darker, and I don't know if the clouds in Russia are different.
As you can see, as he's saying this, they show a weather radar, but this weather radar is not in Russia. This is from Spa-Francorchamps, which is in Belgium. Here's another example for you. In Season 6, Episode 4, we head over to the Canadian Grand Prix, where on the opening lap, a driver of the Haas Formula One team drops a place. It then cuts to the reaction from the team principal.
Fucking hell.
That reaction seems a little unnecessary for a driver losing a place within the first 2 corners of the race. That's because that shot isn't even from this particular race. It's from the Belgian Grand Prix, which you can tell because the map of the track is right on the screen in front of the audience. And this isn't just a one-time occurrence though. Later in the same episode, we head to New Mexico, where a Williams driver is talking with their crew in the garage about the car. And once again, as clear as day, a continuity error. This shot is actually from Abu Dhabi. You can see it on the screens, the track map of the Abu Dhabi circuit, which is not where Netflix told us we were. There's many more of these instances in this episode alone, and some more obvious than others, but the lack of continuity is incredible. All of this lack of attention to detail really drives away the true Formula One fans from watching Drive to Survive, because it doesn't feel real, and the reputation of certain drivers and teams being negatively impacted from Drive to Survive, which is why some drivers like Max Verstappen don't like appearing on the series.
You don't really see a lot of me on Drive to Survive because I don't like doing it. So, I mean, also some things are just private, right? People don't need to know.
However, I would say while there are a lot of negatives that Drive to Survive have and bring to the sport, there are some good things that have come from this series. For example, we get an insight on the behind the scenes of a Formula One weekend from a driver's perspective, and it's allowed fans to see some of the personal life of the drivers. Furthermore, the viewership of Formula One has grown since the series has come out. From 2018, where on average 500,000 Americans would watch each race, that viewership has now grown to 1.1 million in 2023. Overall, I would say that Drive to Survive's contribution to the sport has been great when it comes to the unique content they bring to the table. However, the made-up storylines and over-dramatization of any small incident isn't great. I think they need to show the races properly and realistically, but keep what they're doing when it comes to showing the driver's personal life.